All right, let's talk about the 2026 Hummer H4 concept. You know, the one that doesn't just ask for your attention, it literally demands it. Whether you're a hardcore SUV enthusiast or just love wild automotive design, the buzz around this thing is absolutely massive right now. So, in this explainer, we're going to slice right through that hype and look at the actual day-to-day reality of this absolute unit.
The whole philosophy here boils down to one phrase: maximum presence. It's not trying to blend in, it's definitely not a subtle luxury cruiser. Nah, this is for drivers who want to make a massive, undeniable statement the absolute second they roll up to an intersection.
Okay, part one, the modern street tank, a mix of luxury and muscle.
Just look at the design DNA. It's rapid-fire aesthetics. Huge, aggressive, expensive-looking, muscular. It perfectly mashes up that traditional Hummer toughness, you know, the wide stance, the boxy body, with this oversized, sporty urban styling. Honestly, it's not some mud-caked off-roader. It's a luxury street tank built to completely dominate city pavement.
Moving on to Section 2, massive merits and appeal. Basically, why buyers are going to love it. A lot of its appeal really just comes down to contrast. Let's be real for a second. Modern crossover SUVs, they're getting kind of soft, rounder. They're all starting to look like the exact same jelly bean. The H4 actively rebels against that. It brings a bold, intensely masculine, and super aggressive character for buyers who are just completely overdriving a generic bubble. And when we talk about road presence, oh man, the H4 concept completely eclipses the legacy stalwarts. Seriously, pull up next to a Toyota Fortuner, a Chevy Tahoe, or even a Range Rover Sport, and this ultra-wide stance visually swallows everything else sitting at that traffic light. It really hits that modern automotive sweet spot, right? Premium luxury, but paired with rugged toughness. You step inside and you're getting a cabin wrapped in high-end materials, totally loaded with advanced tech, but it's all hiding behind this beastly off-road inspired exterior. It's basically a high-tech VIP lounge wrapped up in a tank. And hey, beyond just looking cool, that massive footprint actually gives you incredible space. We're talking a huge cabin, ultra-comfortable seating, and a cargo area that can swallow practically anything you throw at it. It's pretty much the ultimate rig for growing families, VIP transport, or those long luxury highway road trips where you just want to stretch out. Now, performance-wise, an aggressive look kind of demands an aggressive powertrain, right? So whether this thing hits the streets with a massive traditional petrol V8 or they go the modern route with high-torque electric motors, you can expect the exact same thing: brutal acceleration, effortless highway cruising, and some very serious towing power. Okay, but all this hype brings up a very real, very unavoidable question. What is the actual cost of all this presence? Because, yeah, the perks are awesome, but driving a literal street tank comes with some massive real-world compromises. Which brings us to Section 3, the practical drawbacks, or the harsh reality of city driving. Look, piloting something this wide in a crowded city is going to cause a cascading sequence of stress. First up, parking. Finding a spot for this width is a daily chore. Honestly, you'll feel like you need your own zip code just to park the thing. Then, narrow city streets suddenly feel like you're threading a needle, and regular traffic maneuvering, it's going to make you sweat. Plus, even though you sit way up high, the limited visibility directly around the vehicle in compact areas is super anxiety-inducing. Then, we have to talk about physics. You're moving something shaped exactly like a brick. By design, this thing is heavy, ultra-wide, and completely aerodynamically inefficient. If they drop a petrol V8 in it, the fuel economy is going to be absolutely brutal. Your trips to the gas station? Yeah, they're going to sting. And that financial drain doesn't just stop at the pump either. A heavy SUV like this eats massive, expensive tires and needs oversized brake systems just to stop safely. Throw in premium fuel, costly suspension repairs, and if it's imported, the total nightmare of sourcing parts, well, your maintenance bills could easily skyrocket. Also, purely financially speaking, the H4 targets a really specific, bold niche. And what does that mean?
It means a smaller resale market, which translates to a much higher risk of steep depreciation. If you compare it to safer, universally accepted bets, like, say, a Toyota Prado or a Lexus LX, those have massive, proven resale markets. They're just much smarter long-term financial investments.
And finally, its greatest strength, that wild, aggressive design, well, it can easily become its biggest weakness. For a lot of people, the style is just going to be too much. It's excessively flashy and pretty impractical for just, running out to grab groceries. Not everyone has the energy to own a vehicle that constantly attracts stares and questions every single place it goes.
All right, final section, part 4. Should you buy it? Let's get to the final verdict. It really just comes down to what you personally value. You should absolutely buy this thing if you crave that huge footprint, if you want that unique blend of luxury and toughness, and if you actively want an attention-grabbing design. But on the flip side, you should 100% avoid it if you prioritize fuel autonomy, easy parking, or just simple, low-cost ownership. If practicality is your main thing, the H4 is just going to drive you crazy.
Ultimately, the Hummer H4 is the perfect representation of the modern ultra-bold luxury SUV trend. These things are designed for presence, image, and lifestyle way more than pure logical practicality. They're emotional purchases, right? Not spreadsheet-driven decisions. It's all about how the car makes you feel.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Is making that massive dominant statement on the road actually worth the daily sacrifices and fuel costs, parking anxiety, and maintenance bills? Because for some, that thrilling image is absolutely priceless. But for others, it's a practical nightmare. So which side of the line do you fall on? Thanks for exploring this with me today on The Explainer.